how does Finland maintain its position as the happiest country in the world?
And one thing that I want to mention is also trust towards your government and your authorities.
Why?
Every citizen, they have responsibilities, but they have also rights. But we have to talk about both things to have a happy society.
Asia or Europe?
For me, European Union is also like a peace project, that we, very different European countries, form a union where we want to decide things together. So that is, I think, a very, very fundamental pro of being an EU citizen.
Hello everyone! Today we're gonna present you a unique project for those who seek knowledge and inspiration for achieving great goals in a regular issue of Aisholpan podcast. Women excel in many different fields and secure senior positions in business, politics, and international organizations. Being one of the few women in diplomatic community is a great responsibility. We observe the international communities and national governments recognize the importance of women's participation in decision-making. They support actively gender equality and promote women, peace, and security agenda. Of course, we need to continue investing in education and promoting women's leadership in order to increase the number of women influencing the decision-making and participation in politics. And in the frame of Aisholpan project, it is important to guide a new generation of girls to achieve their goals without any gender restrictions. Today, I'd like to discuss gender equality and women in politics with a role model and an ambassador extraordinary and plenipotentiary of the Republic of Finland, Mrs. Sojli Makelainen-Bуханист.
My name is Sojli Makelainen-Bуханист. I'm ambassador of Finland here in Kazakhstan. I've been in Kazakhstan nearly for 4 years now. In my leisure time, I like to do some sports, and of course I want to travel and see many of the regions in Kazakhstan, in this huge country, and also I spend time with my cat. One woman in Finland's history who has inspired me is Miina Sillanpää. She was one of the 9 first Finnish members of parliament who was elected to our parliament in 1907, and later she became also a minister in 1920s. But there are many powerful women in Finland's history who inspire me. When I came to Kazakhstan, I was amazed about how polite and how friendly people are, and I think they smile a lot more than Finns do. But we share some common things, like our love to winter sports like ice hockey and skiing, and also sauna is very important for both nations. And people have asked me how can I cope with the winters here in Kazakhstan, but I can say that I cope very well, because in Finland we also have real winters. In my life, I have always wanted to do things that are good for my country and good for the society, but also things that I also can get some satisfaction in a professional way. So that's why I chose diplomatic life. I hope the Aisholpan project will be inspirational for Kazakhstani girls. I think it's very important for the wonderful girls of Kazakhstan to really reach their potential. And I want to say to all Kazakhstani girls, you can do whatever you want.
Hello, Madam Ambassador. Your presence and experience is really inspirational for teenage girls in Kazakhstan. We're really thankful that you've come here. So, the journey of a woman in politics must be very complicated. How did you come up with this adventure?
Well, I'm not really a politician. I'm a civil servant at the Foreign Ministry of Finland. So we then have a career in the ministry, and the highest position that you can then attain is to become an ambassador. And I started many years ago, and I have had a career in the ministry in different parts of the world, and now I've been ambassador to Kazakhstan for 4 years.
Were you inspired by anybody? Maybe some kind of figure in history?
Not anybody, like one person, but for me it has been very important as a woman to have a career and be able to choose what I want to do when I'm. As a child, I thought that I want to be whatever I want to be, and then I worked with a company, but then I came up with this chance to join the foreign ministry, and it has been very interesting since the first day.
What were the pros and cons of being a minister, of being a diplomat or ambassador?
Well, it is a very interesting job. For me, it's very important that I work for my country and I can represent my country, which I'm very proud of. But of course, there's a lot of responsibility, and also you are not so free to choose what you do, because in the ministry you have to go where they send you. Of course, you can have some choices, but it is like a long career, and one advantage, and maybe for some people it's a negative factor, is that you have to do very different jobs. Sometimes you work with economics, sometimes you might work with security policy, and so on.
So, Aisholpan project is actually implemented with the support of European Union delegacy in Kazakhstan, and Finland is also part of the European Union. Is there a difference between being a citizen of Finland or a European Union? Can you tell me any pros and cons of being a citizen of European Union?
Yes, for Finland, we joined the European Union in 1995. So I have lived in Finland before the European Union, and I think there are many benefits of being also a European citizen. Especially for young people, it offers so much more, and for everybody, we can travel, freely around Europe. We can move to another EU country and work there, and young people can go and study in universities in different EU countries. So it comes with many benefits, and of course one benefit is that we have a common currency. We don't need to change money when we go to France or somewhere else.
What is your favorite pros that you can tell about being a citizen of European Union?
Well, for me, European Union is also like a peace project, that we, very different European countries, form a union where we want to decide things together. So that is, I think, a very fundamental pro of being an EU citizen.
So now I want to talk about happiness, because the UN annually reports a level of happiness every year, and in 2024, Finland actually topped the ranking for the 7th time in a row. And it was really shocking for me of how does such a small country can be so happily living, in a world of full happiness. So, can you tell me please, what is happiness for you?
Well, I think happiness is not something that belongs only to Finnish people, and it is not something that we have, just came about. But it is a long history for Finland that we have tried to make our society as good as possible. And that means that our everyday life is easy. So everything works, so to say. And as for me, it has meant that I got to study in good schools. Schooling is free, also university is free. Then when I had children, I could stay home with them for a certain time. And then I could work because the daycare system is very good. Every child is guaranteed a daycare place, so the mother can work. And of course we have good health care, and everything works smoothly, so you can just concentrate on your own wishes, what you want to do, and we call it infrastructure of happiness is working for you. And one thing that I want to mention is also trust towards your government and your authorities. And it also means that every citizen, they have responsibilities, but they have also rights. But we have to talk about both things to have a happy society. So, for example, in Finland, people, they like to pay taxes because they know that with that they get good service from the government and the communities. And also very interesting is that, in the world, not all people trust the police, but in Finland, 90% of people say that they trust the police.
Wow. So, can happiness be a habit?
Not really. I think you have to earn the happiness and work for it all the time, because we know that the world changes, society changes, there will be different needs. So the society has to also function differently, and then concentrate on those issues that people say that are important to them.
How does Finland maintain its position as the happiest country in the world?
Well, I think it is constant work. We have to always try to be better and better, and that our government makes good decisions, that kind of decisions that the people like, and that of course has to do with democracy. So people choose their members to the parliament, and among those parties who are at the parliament, we elect the government. So the government reflects the wishes of the people, and government needs to be very, very open and also very recipient in a way that they listen what people need. And as I said, the world changes all the time, so we have to be, ready to change some things and improve things all the time.
Yeah, and in order to improve everything, people have to be educated. And
That's
I've even heard of a phenomenon such as Finland's school miracle, in which internationally they're studying the schools in Finland. And now I want to ask you a question, and it's really important for me. Please share how the phenomenon of a model school arises so much in such a small country.
Well, the Finnish education system is well known, And of course there are some elements of the school system that we can like share with other countries and transform and use in other countries. But of course we have to know that what happened in Finland, it's a history of things. So Finland was, after Second World War, a very poor country, and we had to develop our society, and our authorities at that time, they were very wise, and they decided that education is number one, because that brings the welfare to all people, and we would have good workforce, and then our economy would develop. So everything was based on that children get very good education at schools. And at that time it became compulsory to go to school, and the schools were developed. We had also already in the 1940s school meal was introduced, so all children could get warm meal without any cost to the pupils. And since then the system has developed, but Finland is a very small country, 5.5 million people now, so we are also a homogeneous country, and at that time we didn't have much immigrants either. So I think that kind of schools which are, the quality is the same if you are in a small village or you are in the capital. It's of course easier to achieve in a small country if we compare to Kazakhstan, which is a huge country.
So it was actually beneficial for you to be a worldwide school model, to build it, because of the fact that you had less pupils, so you were working on the quality, neither the quantity, right?
Well, in a way, yes, but in our society also the teachers are very valued, so people really, it's hard to get into a university to get teacher education. So our teachers have also developed how pupils learn. They realize that not every child learns the same way. So the teacher has quite a lot of power to use different kind of methods, and that has made the quality in Finnish schools very good.
Yet you still don't have the September 1st or assembly with flowers in your schools. Because, for example, in Kazakhstan, every year on the September 1st, when the school begins, we bring flowers to the teachers, we have kids singing songs and performances, but I've never heard that Finland has it.
Yeah, not really. Maybe some pupils can bring flowers to the teacher when the school year ends, but our reward really for the teachers is that they are educated in the university and they are paid a very good salary. So that's the way we want to thank our teachers.
Do you have any other assemblies? Like at the beginning of the year to greet students or something like that, maybe some kind of transitions that help recharge energy in schools?
Well, in our schools we don't have that kind of tradition. Of course, it's always a celebration when the students graduate, so then they celebrate in a more fancier way.
So they have like prom dresses and so on?
Yes, something like that.
There are a few statements about Finnish people that a good education is when a student feels well and can use their skills learned from school as adults. Is that true?
Well, what we emphasize these days in our schools at the secondary level, well, also the smaller children, that they are not at the school to just, study from books something, and then the teacher asks, do you remember what you read? But we emphasize that they need to learn, because our era is full of, you have to find out data about things that interest you, but you don't have to know them by heart to be able to learn that, and very important also that this data is now available for us through internet. But you need to learn how to use it so that you can do research and you can do wise decisions, that you know what is disinformation and what is reliable information. So that's kind of thing. So maybe that is what you meant, like learning like an adult, I would say so.
So you're teaching more about the soft skills rather than hard skills?
Yes, but of course you need to learn your maths and everything in the beginning.
Is it true that Finnish people also have a self-educational system?
Yes. Well, what we in Finland favor is, or we know it for a fact, that even if you graduate from a school or from a university, you need to keep up your skills and you need to maybe educate yourself more. So we talk about lifelong learning. And there are a lot of adult colleges where you can go and get some more education. And many people these days, they can even change their profession during their life. It's not very rare. So, and also the work life changes all the time. And if you are working at a technology company, maybe the whole way of production will change. So in that sense, yes, you have to educate you all the time.
Finland is annually recognized as one of the best countries in ecology too, because citizens of Finland actively participate in changing the ecological problems in the world, and they recycle all the time. They have new investments and new innovations in the country. So I want to ask you a question. What programs and activities do exist in Finland's school systems that teach young kids about ecological problems?
Well, at schools, sustainable development is a cross-cutting theme. So it will be handled in all the subjects that you have at school. So the teachers, they are clever, and since they have been told that sustainable development has to be integrated, they will find ways how to put the topic in whatever they do in let's say if it's biology, maybe they can tell about the nature, recycling, how important it is to like not have waste, but try to use everything as much as you can so that there will not be any waste. And we also advocate for circular economy. So all these different aspects of sustainable life and sustainable industry and how you can be sustainable in your everyday life at home or at school will be dealt with.
And please share, how do Finnish people recycle their garbage? Do you have any tips that we can use actually in Kazakhstan?
Yes, well, there has to be some sorting of the waste, and also in Astana I can see these sorting bins. But in Finland, most people have at their home different bins for different waste. So the biological waste, which can be used then for glass and for plastic, different bins. And at the waste treatment plants, they are very good at handling this, and also what is very good that these days they can make energy out of waste. So we even gain energy from circulating them.
Do you have any other innovations that you have about ecology?
We have a lot of innovations about ecology. And actually, Finland's target is to be carbon neutral by 2035. It's one of the most ambitious in the world and in Europe also. And we are not doing this as government, but also with our companies. So our companies have for a long time innovated how to have sustainable technologies for all kinds of industries. And that means that they can use less energy, maybe less water, and also that they are not producing waste. So this is like the whole society and companies and universities included. We are all thinking about how to do things in a sustainable way.
The internet and especially social media reveal limitless opportunities but there are some challenges to be recognized and overcome. In order to operate fully in society, people need to have up-to-date media knowledge and facial literacy. National Audiovisual Institute is responsible for implementing its own media literacy and media education policy in Finland. Please, can you share about its work and how it teaches media literacy from a very early age?
Yes, well, we have thought that it's very important, as I said earlier, that these days we are so exposed to social media and all digital tools that, of course, children also, they are enthusiastic and want to use them, but then you have to be sure that it's regulated in a way that the children get that content that they need, and also that they can then a little later on understand what is reliable sources of data and which may be not. And I think it's very important in this era with social media, because in social media it might be that people who think alike, they come to a group, and then there are some people who think otherwise, and maybe these groups are not talking to each other, and then they can have very different views. So that's a challenge for society. And the other challenge is that you should know what is true and what is not true, maybe only views or even disinformation.
So people in Finland will be the most financially literate in the world by 2030. Why this demand was set up, and how can education be used to prevent people from getting into debts and other financial problems?
Well, we think that education is very important in all aspects of life, and therefore at school we have very many subjects also related to how to be a good citizen and how to be able to handle your finances. And as we are a very equal society, so at school we teach girls and boys to cook so that they can cook at home, and we teach how to take care of the home so that both sexes would be involved, that it would not only be for women to keep the house tidy. And also you have to be able to take care of your finances. So all of these are very important for young people to learn.
According to the statistics, 69% of Finnish people trust the news, and it's the highest ranking in the world. So what factors do influence the fact that Finnish people trust the news?
Well, we think that the future lies in future generations, and for Finns, one issue is that our country is relatively small, 5.5 million people, and unfortunately the population is aging a lot. So we really want to take care of our youth so that they can take care of the elderly population and develop the country further. And also nature is very important for Finns. So we love forests, and we are like 82% of Finland's surface is covered by forests and the rest by lakes. So we also want to give good education and experience for children so that they will value our natural resources. And as I said, Finland also is not a very rich country in natural resources other than water and forests, but for example we don't have any oil, and therefore also we say that one of our very important resource is people and young people especially.
So do you trust the Finnish news?
Yes, I do. In Finland we have a national broadcasting company which is financed by the government, and the reason behind that is that we want to have a reliable source of information, and that this broadcasting company, they broadcast in Finnish and in Swedish, so we have two official languages, so they need to serve both parts of our society. But of course it's not a monopoly, so we have a lot of private broadcasting companies and newspapers as well.
Let's have a blitz poll where you should choose only one out of two answers. First one is rain or sunshine?
Sunshine.
Why?
I think that my mood is much better when it's sunny.
Health or joy?
Health.
Did you choose health too when you were 20?
Maybe not at that time, but now I know that I cannot have joy if I'm not healthy.
Asia or Europe?
Europe.
Humor or irony?
Humor.
Do you always use humor in diplomacy, or you mostly have irony?
I think humor is very good in any circumstances. Of course, you have to use it wisely, but it's much better than irony, I would think.
Listening or speaking?
Listening.
Because most Finnish people are introverts.
They most certainly are, but also you can find out very important things if you listen. If you only talk and don't listen to the other side, then in diplomacy it's not a good thing.
Top of the ranking or small victory?
I think small victories are very important.
Why?
Because with small victories you usually can achieve something big in the end. And in many difficult issues, you only can take small steps at a time, but it doesn't mean that in the end you might achieve your goal.
Nordic walking or hockey?
For me personally, Nordic walking, but everybody in Finland and I think also in Kazakhstan love hockey.
And now I want to ask you the most important question of all. I ask this question every guest. What value do you associate yourself with?
I would say fairness is one important issue. Another is trust, and maybe the third, transparency.
Can you explain the term transparency? Why did you choose these two words?
Transparency is for me the basic value for well-functioning democratic societies, Because if there's not transparency, then I think it's very hard for the people and the government to trust each other.
I'm really glad that you came. Thankful for your presence and experience, and you're awesome.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.